Hello, everyone. My name's Ron Pettengill, and I'm an entrepreneur. So I don't mean to start out like it's sort of Entrepreneurs Anonymous, but I just. But this is the third year that I've been part of this program, and I should give you a little bit of my background. So I have been an entrepreneur for 20 years. I've done 6 companies. I've had 2 spectacular successes, both public, one here and in the U.S., one in the U.K. I've had 2 really spectacular failures, which is always fun, and 2 that might just make it. Who knows? We'll see. So I can't. Being an entrepreneur sometimes is you can't do anything else but be an entrepreneur. And unlike Dean Joseph, I went to school here, but I did not graduate. So just fair disclosure. But I ended up becoming an entrepreneur, and I love this program because it's in upstate New York, which sadly needs these programs. And I love the expertise and wisdom of Martin, Nasir, Chuck, and now James. I just think they run the best program I've seen. I've participated in a lot of these around the world, so this is a real asset to the community. I'm here to introduce you to a very interesting woman named Heather Gillette. And when she asked me, and I'm very proud to introduce her, she's the founder of Designer Inc. I got very nervous because I started reading about her background. And I actually wrote something so I wouldn't forget anything. Heather was employee number 8 at YouTube, and was responsible for operations and also their licensing system that prevented people from using proprietary songs, movies, etc., images on there. And in fact, Sheryl Sandberg, who we all know, who was at Google when they bought YouTube, said to her apparently, she was one of the reasons why Google bought them, because they had terrible problems with their own video channel. And subsequently, if you all remember back to when Viacom sued YouTube after Google bought them, the system that Heather had put into place was one of the things that really saved them and allowed them to win that case. I say this because Heather, like me, has a love of chaos. And you have to love chaos if you're going to be an entrepreneur, because chaos in an entrepreneur's mind is opportunity, right? It's the way you get around the big players that might be in your market, or the market you're trying to, as they say in business school, disintermediate. And Heather is going after the designer function, the people that do design for interior design, things like that, how they get their materials for their clients. And I think you will find that she's put together quite an interesting proposal here for you to invest in. So, and given her background, and like I said, given the fact that she's actually been to the show, if you know that term from baseball, I would listen to her, because, like I said, I wrote it down because I was pretty intimidated. So anyway, where's Heather? Go get her.
I hope. Oh, it's working. Good. Hi, everybody. Ron, that was incredible. I got the chills and almost cried as well. So I'm set up to be emotional on stage here for you guys. My name is Heather Gillette, as Ron pointed out, and I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Designer Inc. I'm also the very, very proud graduate of StartFast 2018. So thank you guys. I think technically in about 1 hour. I grew up actually in Palo Alto, California, which is the heart of Silicon Valley. I've been surrounded by tech companies basically my entire life as a result. And in fact, I've worked at tech companies for the past 25 plus years or so. As Ron mentioned, I was actually number 8 at YouTube. And I still remember putting together IKEA desks alongside Chad and Steve when we were above the pizza shop, trying to see who could get it done faster. I won fairly often. There were a lot of desks to put together, so it was a pretty fair fight between all of us. So I was fortunate enough to kind of be a part of a company when, a very successful company, be there when it was just a handful of people, and then ride that ride all the way to many, many hundreds of people by the time. And by the way, this picture is actually, I keep pointing there, but I don't know where you guys are looking, is actually 2 years after the $1.65 billion exit to Google. So my story is a little bit different in that I came from what could be, considered very much a tech mecca, Silicon Valley. A lot of people too big for their britches, in my opinion. I don't know where Paul is, but I was kind of resonating with. There you are. All the way to Syracuse, New York. Yeah, right. Woo! Thank you, we missed. So, but I came to Syracuse because I hit it off with James and Chuck and Nasser. They understood me, they got me, it felt great. And I also, what the Start Press program offered was exactly what I needed at exactly the time that I needed it. So I have not regretted any moment of that decision. It's been an incredible journey and an incredible learning experience, and I thank you guys.
Thank you.
So after I left YouTube, I had always had an appreciation, a passion for beautifully decorated homes, probably because I am not, in any sense of the word, good with interior design. And so my next startup, after I kind of became very, very familiar with the industry, I started another company called Designer Inc., this time as employee number 1. And and this company is all about the things that I found wrong in the interior design industry, in the professional industry. And of course, when I was putting together my team for this company, I went back to the people that I had worked with in my history and kind of pulled those people that I thought would be the best to help me build this company. And I'm incredibly proud of the team that I've put together. There's me, of course, up here on the screen, but we've also got Anna Gatti. She was actually, I worked with her for 5 years at Google, and she was actually in charge of monetizing YouTube for all of the European markets. She was also a key player in Skype's IPO, so she's done some really important stuff in her career, and I'm really, really lucky to have her. And then I've got an incredible development team with decades of modern web development experience for companies like Stanford and Etsy, a whole bunch of different companies. And together, we all know how to build a scalable business, and luckily, we also really love working together and doing that together. So I want to talk a little bit about the interior design industry. Who in this room has hired or worked with an interior designer? Please raise your hand. Okay. Enough of you, maybe I'll get some sentiment from this question. So have you ever asked yourselves, why is it so incredibly expensive and why is it so incredibly slow? Yes. Okay, all right, good, okay. The answer is, and the reason is, because the industry is very, very broken, especially when we're talking about the designer furniture side of things. This is a beautiful room done by a professional interior designer by the name of Mark Cutler. And every piece of furniture that you see in this room is not available to consumers. It's not available in stores. This is designer-only furniture, basically. It's just wholesale furniture, only available to designers. But for Mark to be able to put together this room, find all the pieces for this room, find the things that would complete his vision, it was a painstakingly slow process. The interior design industry, basically, the products themselves are still in offline catalogs on bookshelves. They're in siloed, broken down websites, really horrible user experience websites. And designers still have to call for each item to get the price details. And imagine if you were to call these manufacturers, this is what happens more often than not, they say, I'll get back to you in a week with the price. And that's just one item. So they're having to do this for hundreds and hundreds of items, and it's incredibly slow and painstaking. Designers spend 60% of their time searching for and trying to purchase product. That's 3 out of every 5 days. They're calling, they're emailing, they're jotting stuff down on a spreadsheet, they're trying to pull together enough to make a minimum order as required by the manufacturer, they're faxing in applications to try to be eligible to purchase from this manufacturer. And so they're really demanding a better solution. They don't want to put up with that anymore, especially younger designers, and that's where Designer Inc. comes in. Designer Inc. is the online marketplace for the design industry, the only marketplace of its kind. So we've taken all of that offline furniture, thousands and thousands of manufacturers, hundreds of thousands of different products. We've digitized it, or we've pulled it from those broken websites, and we've aggregated it. We've put it in one easily searchable, easily purchasable interface. Designers can request a quote for hundreds of items with one click. something that would take them 60% of their week. And they use us not only for searching for and purchasing product, they also use us to discover new manufacturers. Finding new manufacturers also has been historically very, very difficult for them. They'd have to wait for a trade show or so, or hopefully there was some designer friend that maybe could recommend something new to them. So designers absolutely love what we've built. We're saving hours a day of a designer's time. As this designer so aptly put it, we've basically taken a horrible experience or a horrible part of the job and we've made it pleasurable. This designer in particular has been doing it for 38 years, right? Doing that kind of awful, long, drawn-out process. So they've been waiting for something for so long. It's a little bit like fish in a barrel for us, luckily. And we've got significant traction. This is our transaction volume since Jan 2017. So we've been growing at 16% month over month in transaction volume. Woo! Thanks, Chuck. I've got my biggest fans right here in the front, luckily. And we earn a commission on every one of those transactions. They're trying to place the order the old-fashioned way, over the phone. And it's a big market. So 50,000 designers in the US last year spent $7 billion on designer furniture. So it's a very, very big market. It's a healthy market, but it's also very ripe for disruption. So Designer Inc. is doing well. If we kept growing at the same rate that we're growing, we've got a viable business here. We want to accelerate that growth, though. So we are raising $1 million with the goal of getting to $2 million in annualized net revenue within the 12-month period after that raise. So I think we've got a great team, we've got a great opportunity, and I want to really thank everybody for your time and for coming here. This is a bit intimidating, but also super exciting. And thank you also to Lemoyne. This has been an incredible summer for me. Thank you, guys.